Hi, Christina Davis Buffkin. How are you? So the Bagua readings are what we were doing a few weeks ago with the Feng Shui Bagua, which is like the different sectors of the north, the northeast, uh, basically the different directions. Do you remember? I don't know if you maybe saw this. You maybe didn't. This was a few weeks ago. I started doing these readings where we pulled a card for each of the sectors of the Feng Shui Bagua, right? And each one rules a different area. So, like your north is your career journey. It's associated with the snake, and then your hearing, the sense of hearing. The northeast is this your spiritual connection or your connection to spirit. And so each sector, right, each direction has an affiliation. Hey, Jamie Taylor, how are you? And so from there, what I ended up doing is I did first cards, right? For each sector, I pull a card, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sectors. So it's 8 cards all the way around the wheel. So each card represents for that one sector, like it's like the theme for that sector of what's going on in that sector of your Bagua. And then I used these 3 different bags, which was the coins of the tarot, which are metal, because that's one of the 5 elements of Feng Shui. There's metal, earth, fire, water, and wood. And then we have animal tiles, which are made from wood to honor that wood. And then we have runes on actual stones, which was element of earth. So I kind of toss those on the board and see where they land and kind of how they may correspond. The runes, though, I'm still learning, so I kind of have to reference a rune chart to know which rune and what it means. And runes are very like sort of old Viking tools of divination, but they're fun to play with, and I just use them to see kind of what's going on in the different sectors of your world. And kind of, I just use my own intuition as to what kind of I feel like everything's trying to tell me about you, about whoever books it. I think that we've done it once or twice before. Hey, Stephen Cologne, how are you? Hey, Mary, how are you? Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Correct is off. I live runes too, girl. I live them too. I don't know them as well as I should. I've had a set of runes for years, and I've never taken the time to fully study them. And it's kind of hard because some of them look very similar. But I thought we would do this on Fridays because I'm trying to be on more often. I'm trying to sell more readings. So I'm trying to make variations of readings. And so I thought Feng Shui Friday would work because then it would be the Bagua map. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, I created this a while back after we did it a couple of times. Let me just show you. So it doesn't fit completely in the screen, but so you have your north, which is your water element, and then it specifies what this rules, your northeast, and this is actually in correct directional alignment to the actual, like the north is technically that direction in real world, right? Like that way is facing north. This is northeast. This is east. This is southeast. This is south in the actual real configuration of this room. So I felt like that was going to be more powerful. The first time we did it, we had the south up at top. And then so we have water here, fire is here. And then I believe metal is over in this sector here, if I remember correctly. So I'll have to double check all of that. But That's what I'm doing. So if anybody's interested in purchasing one of those, you are more than welcome to. Like I said, it's like about 8 cards plus runes and other assorted things thrown on there. So the readings do take a little while, but that's what's available to you if you're interested. I'm only going to do, again, probably like 4, just because I don't want to be doing so many that I can't. By the 5th or 6th one, I'll probably be fried. So I'm only going to commit to doing 4. For those of you that are interested, I can put. It's not longer than an hour. I don't believe. No, because I don't want to be here for 4 hours, girl. Like, no, I'd be. My brain would melt if I had to do this for 4 hours. This is not easy work. Like trying to tap in and connect all the dots and all of that. It's work for me. If I'm being completely honest. So this isn't like, I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy doing it. And I enjoy seeing the connections and see how it all works and see if it makes sense to you. But it's not, I mean, I don't plan for them. Ideally, maybe 20 minutes each, if that, or 30 minutes at most. So that we're here for like an hour and a half. Well, that would be 6 of them, but I don't really want to do 6. I only ever want to do like, especially, these like live prices, which is only $25 on the lives, are set up cheaper because it's live. And so because your reading is happening publicly, it's, I give you guys a break. And it also is a quick way for me to kind of market myself, let people see what I do so that hopefully more people are interested in booking private readings. And any reading that you see me do here with any deck, you can contact me via the Facebook business page and I can do for you privately. It would be more like slow, in depth, more concentrated, more energy put into it, that sort of a thing. Hey, Vicky, that's fine. You can do whatever you'd like. I mean, hopefully your connection will stay strengthened, but so again, and I think that the way that I did it, I think that if I remember correctly, because it went, because from fire and earth comes metal, and then metal creates water, and then water and goes into wood, because when you water plants, they grow into wood. So there's a whole cycle on in the way that the cycle spins. There was another thing that I was sort of indicating on doing tonight, which I didn't do the last time, but I kind of got this weird flash of possibly doing it. I don't know if I should or shouldn't, but I was going to take this sunstone pendulum that I have, and after we kind of display everything, I wanted to see which way the pendulum swung over your Bagua for the individual to see, are you spinning in the direction, or are you spinning clockwise or counterclockwise? Just because I want to know, like, where are the priorities? Because I believe that it's supposed to be clockwise, or at least that's the way that I was reading it. Because I had a map here. I mean, I still have the map. I still study the map to try and understand it all, but let me see. Hold on. Where is that? Yeah. So see, it's hard to explain, but it moves. Yeah, but see, they place fire at top on the map here, but this map is not correct because fire is to the south. Fire is associated with the energy of the south, and the south physically in this room is behind me, and the north is in front of me as I sit here. So that's why we've done it this way. And then I've always sort of started with just at the top and worked around like a clock, because it shows the flow happening that way and then how they all interconnect. So there's a couple of different maps of this that I'm still trying to understand and where this figures into this sort of a reading style, because it's not, I don't know that anybody's doing this. I've not seen anybody doing it. It was just an idea that I had had. So I was kind of, oh, that's kind of cool thing. Let me just verify payment. Cool. Thank you, Christina. Perfect. I do have payment. All right. So let's get started. first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first lay out the cards for everything. Hey, Ashley, how are you, dear? Hey, Beth Allen, how are you? Let me just finish what I was doing really quick. I did get payment. Like I said, if anybody else is interested, it's $25 and it's and then it goes. Jen Nichols, if you're interested, you could trade in your Patreon Charming if you wanted. If you're interested in doing that for the month, you can do that. I don't mind that. What was I doing? I'm sorry, guys. Let me just finish this up really quick and then we can get started. Here comes the ice cream truck. Can you hear that? The ice cream truck comes through every night. I love it. I need to go out there and buy ice cream from him. It's so cool to hear that, but I'm just afraid I'm going to get kidnapped and then who's going to read you guys? I should be so lucky, right? All right. Hey, Tracy Swinson, how are you? All right, guys. So let's get started. So I'm going to flip. I need a margarita truck. Yeah, but you know what? We'd never see you then, Beth. You'd be gone. You'd go with the margarita truck. It'd be like joining the circus and taking off and disappearing again. Go and get us all ice cream. I wish I would. I totally am tempted every time I hear it, every night. And he starts, the crazy thing is he starts in like February. Like I was like, who's buying ice cream in February? I mean, even though it's kind of warm here, it's not like freezing cold, but well, we did have that freak snowstorm. But I was like, ice cream truck in February, dude, really? Like, but whatever, you got to make your money. You got to, do your thing. So it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I'm happy that he comes through the neighborhood every night. He comes through, which is great. I've yet to go out there though. I need to go out there just to kind of support him, just because I think it's kind of cool that my neighborhood has an ice cream truck. I think that's great. All right, if I remember correctly, I think the way that I did this is I did this. Was it earth and then metal? I think it was wood, earth, then metal. I'll have to re-reference that, but because the way that they flow in the chart is wood comes first, then comes earth, there's metal there. So we'll see if that's correct. And you'll take the crazy clowns with you, so I'll be safe. Okay, fierce. All right, so let's do this for Christina. All right. So I'm going to switch cameras really quick. And again, you're not going to be able to see the whole board because it's kind of big, but you can get an idea of where we're at and what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to first shuffle cards. Cards to the north. So here's your card for the north. Hey Tina, I just explained it. It's a Bagua map, so it's directionally sound as far as the directions. I'm pulling cards for each section of the Bagua, and then I am going to, on top of that, I'm going to then, this is for the northeast, I'm going to read the cards coupled with some runes and some tarot coins and things like that to represent the different elements that belong in here, right? If that makes sense. So for the earth or wood element, I mean the east and wood element. For the southeast, representing money and wealth. You guys, please hit the like button, the thumbs up button. This is for the southeast. Let's go for the south, for fame, or public notoriety. What's going on for Christina in her fame or public notoriety sector? Now I'm flipping this over because I believe this is upright, okay? So this is going to be the top of our card, I believe. I hope I don't mess this up, but because I believe that's what I'm supposed to do. I mean, in my mind. And then for the southwest, which would represent love and marriage. Oh, awesome, Ashley. Thank you. Ashley's purchased the second one, so there's 2 more positions left. Beyond that, that's it, guys, for the evening. Then we have to the west, which is earth. So Ashley, you'll be second in one moment, okay? I just got to do this for Christina. And then we have for the northwest, which was is helpful people. Christina Davis. Why all of a sudden you're like the people police, Mary? I just got to show you guys this comment here. Mary over on YouTube says, Christina who? Like Mary's the keeper of the gate or something. Christina who? Question mark, question mark. Well, it's Christina Davis Buffkin. All right, and that's for your helpful people sector, okay? Now, we're going to take this, before we flip these cards and look at them, we first want to go to the element of, I think it's earth, which would be the runes. I want to shake up the runes and see where they fall. Okay. And then I want to go the route of metal and then to wood. So for metal, okay, and then to wood. Okay. All right. So now we're going to get into the reading, guys. Takes a little minute to get it set up, but here we go. And there's Christina's response to you. Tell her to get her ass over here on Facebook, LOL. Oh, I didn't know she's your niece. Oh, how cool. Okay, so she's Mary's niece. So I didn't understand that at all. I never knew that. Okay. All right. So now let's get started. I'm going to try and go through this rather quickly, Christina. So just bear with me. I mean, not so quickly that you won't understand, but there's a lot of stuff on the board. So we try and move quickly. In the north is your career and your journey, right? So when I think of career and journey, I think this can also just represent sort of also your life path in a way right now and where things are at. And like I think of career as, yes, it can be business and what we do for work, but I also think sometimes our career can be more like in a more metaphysical sense, our journey or our path that we're on, the career that we're having in life and how well we're doing. I will point out really quick, let me just move this just for 1 minute. One of the wood runes landed up above the north. So I am going to look at that, even though it's outside of the Bagua. There's something going on there. Okay, so we're going to look at that in a moment. But first, I'm going to kind of go around and do the cards. So In the career journey section, you have the Eight of Wands. So Eight of Wands is fire, right? Which would be down here, which would be complementary in this section here. I'm not too bothered by that. I like that it's the Eight of Wands. Eights usually indicate this idea of balance. The Eight of Wands traditionally in tarot can represent fast movement or things changing quite quickly. So there might be some changes happening to your journey right now. This is also, and these are more like the Feng Shui aspects, but this rules the career, your journey, the animal it's associated with is snake, which is that to me, snakes can be about transmutation and changing. You know how they shed their skin? They're also quite adaptable and move. They can move quite quickly too, similar to this Eight of Wands. So I sort of like that corroboration there too. And then it's associated with these the sense of the five senses of hearing. So to me, I feel like there could be rapid movement happening in where you're heading in your life right now, or you're looking and seeking change, right? And in doing so, wands would indicate taking action swiftly, maybe making quick decisions and moving towards new options or new changes. We're going to get through the cards first, and I'll come back and look at how these runes and things play off of all of this stuff, okay? So now in the Northeast, and this is why when I say career journey, it's not just your workspace. It can represent as your workspace and changes in career, but it can also represent sort of your journey in life and shifting and changing, making new growth. I also love that the wands are represented here because there's always those spring buds on the wands, and we're in spring right now in April in Aries season. So right now you might feel an extra push to get some stuff done, to achieve some goals, to make some motions or take some action towards doing some of those things. And because this is sort of the water department, to me, I feel like as far as the section is water, you might feel emotionally compelled to do so. Now, in the Northeast, this is your spiritual connection or house of spiritual connection. So let's see what this card is. So this is the Nine of Wands. Interesting. Wands is the element of fire. Fire is also connected to the element of spirit, right? So I'm not mad at this. I like that this is here. Nine of Wands would indicate having been through a bit of a hard road, having been a little bit beat up, having been, battled, fought for what you needed, got maybe what you've needed, learned lessons, maybe not the hard way, but through adversity, right? All of this says to me that she's learned quite a few things on her way. She's moving towards newer things right now in her journey, in maybe her career, towards her life path. And she's using the knowledge of her spiritual connection and the wisdom of even the ups and the downs to sort of strengthen herself and to kind of close up these chapters as she opens up new ones here. Now, what's interesting to me, and I'm just going to call this out because I see it upright, in the this is like the yin yang symbol, we have the King of Wands down here, and he's sitting both on the spiritual connection and the health section in the east, which is wood, right? So I kind of feel like you've got a lot of like fiery spirit wands energy happening in this area. So it's something to point out for right now. I'm going to look at the next card and I'll come back and interpret in a moment. So this next card for the wood or the east is the Three of Swords. So now, to me, the Three of Swords would indicate heartache, pain, sadness. This is your health sector, right? So when I think about this, I kind of feel like there's a bit more conflict here than I would like. And part of the reason why is swords would also be a natural enemy to wood, right? Because you would need a sword to cut wood, right? And so I also the Three of Swords can indicate sadness, heartache, pain, emotional loss, and the getting over of that. This being in your health department says to me that your mind could very well be at odds with with where your health is at or how you feel about health-wise. We do have a couple of runes here. Let me just see what they are because they are upright and I want to see what they mean. So one of them appears to be Hagalaz, which is hailstorm, loss, destruction and change. And then the other one is Gibo, which is gift, love, marriage, or partnership. I am going to just flip this tarot coin because I just want to know really quick what this is about. Because it's interesting. This says Hagaloz and it says hailstorm, loss, destruction, and change. And there's a, if you look at the back design of this Three of Swords, there's a rainstorm happening in the back. Or this, yeah, the Three of Swords. There's a rainstorm and clouds, right? So you could be... And let's see what this is. This is the Two of Wands. So we have still more Wands energy here. Now, what I'm going to say about this, let me go back because I can't see your guys' comment. What I'm going to say about all of this is that I feel like these two runes are trying to tell me that one is about like gifts and marriage and happy prosperity, and one is about loss, hailstorm. Like they're kind of at odds and sort of fighting, right? And we have this mind card, a heavy mind card that's bestowed upon probably the more negative experiences we've gone through. We have all of this sort of, we have the wisdom of those negative experiences here in our spiritual connection. We're utilizing them for our own well-being, our protection, and for beginning to end those things. But I feel like as we end those things in this chapter, it sort of seeps over into this chapter. We have, or this sector, we have the King of Wands here, which represents sort of that idea of being aware, assertive, taking action, taking what you need, making things happen. And I feel like this is the core to these two sectors, is getting into this section and addressing some of the mental stuff that you might have going on, because it is maybe affecting your health and well-being. The Two of Wands, which was flipped over and hidden, speaks to that idea. Two of Wands is always about sort of deciding what we want and how we want it. It was flipped over, resting on top of this a Three of Swords, which says to me, all right, we need to ditch some of the past and get into the now. We need to ditch some of the pain and the sadness or the hailstorms and the loss that we've suffered and get into what's coming. We've got new things coming here, Christina. So we want to make sure that along our journey, right, along our career, along our path, so we want to make sure that we're focusing more towards the positive. We have some positive things in here, the Two of Wands and the King of Wands and this rune. But right now, the major like holder of this house or this sector is this Three of Swords. Also, when we do this, when we get rid of these when we get rid of these swords, I feel like that's more, what's the word? More in, it's less threatening to this household or this sector, because this is wood. And I think swords and wood, I don't necessarily think that's a magic combination. It's like metal chopping wood. It's kind of, there's a discourse there. There's a disconnect there. We don't want that. Now, down here in the Southeast, we have, this is your money wealth department. So let's see what card this is. This is the Queen of Pentacles. This is actually a really good card. I'm not mad at her. She's like right at home here. Although this is an earth and she is earth energy, Pentacles represents the idea of wealth, money, material goods, and things being made. Now, if you're not experiencing good wealth right now and you're not experiencing sort of the ability to make the money that you need, I would be surprised, because she should indicate that she could be able to teach you that. You might be dealing with so much here, because this looks like one of the more busier sectors right now of what you've got going on the whole board. You've got the King, the Two, the Three, and the Two runes. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components all in this one sector. So this is something that where your mental health might be affecting your physical health, and you need to kind of shift that. If you're able to shift that, I think you're able to shift this. There's a lot of clarity in this sector, right? Where when you put your mind to it and you follow probably what feels maybe emotionally connected or what feels right, there's a lot of good ideas and a lot of help and assistance to be able to make more money if that's something that you're looking for or that you're seeking. I'd also go so far as to say that quite possibly money has come rather easy to you when you set your mind to it. Now, I'm just looking really quick. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So this is your busiest sector, is your wood sector to the east. Okay. All right, so let's go into this South. Now, South is, I'm going to just look at this again. This is fame. And it's what I mean by fame is it's about sort of public recognition, like how you're seen, that sort of a thing. So let's see what this is. This is the Seven of Pentacles. Not mad at this card, and it's not inverted. I put it this way so that it all matches and it faces upright to the direction that it's supposed to be. So don't worry about these. These don't mean that they're inverted. I specifically put them so that it would flow smoothly around the Bagua. Seven of Pentacles, again, I'm not mad because we've got the Queen of Pentacles here next to the Seven of Pentacles. There's some hard work happening down here in your more, in these lower sectors. There's this willingness to put in the hard work, to put in the effort, to remain grounded, to be practical, to get out there, to earn, to make things happen. And you have turtle here, which is upright right here at the base of this. And I kind of like that. Turtle's word is promise, right? Turtle carries its home on its back. It has everything that it needs, and it moves slow and steady, similar to the energy of the pentacles that we see here, right? So it's not about moving swiftly or rashly. I feel like what's going on up here in the spirit sector is moving quickly with all of this wands energy, but that's, I think, happening not only to move you along your path, but also it's happening to help you to address anything that might be going on where your mental health or your thoughts are affecting your ability to kind of get things in order, if that makes sense. Because I think that there is a lot of opportunity here to have order with this Seven of Pentacles, with this Queen of Pentacles, even with this slow moving turtle. It's like, it's that slow and steady wins the race kind of idea. I'm going to just flip this coin over here. This is the Ace of Pentacles. New beginnings, new ideas. Again, we're in the fame department. This is about hard work to the Seven of Pentacles. It's a man in a field looking at his sort of harvest. It's going to take him a minute. He understands that. He's willing to put in the work. He's willing to be dedicated. The Queen helps there too. So I feel like, and then with this ace, that means that sort of new beginnings, new opportunities, new ideas, all of this stuff is helping you down here in this fame money department. So if you're feeling like maybe you're saying, you might be thinking, what is this guy talking about? I don't have a pot to piss in or whatever. I feel like you can actually change, if you can change that thinking, right? Because that's his Three of Swords. If we can change that thinking, we can really make this manifest and work for you. All right, so let's go to the Southwest with, this is love and marriage. So, oh wow, this is the Two of Cups, Christina. This is like a perfect card for this section. I'm gonna just flip this little one over too, because this is the Five of Pentacles. Okay. Five of Pentacles was kind of bordering both, so it's more so in your love and marriage department. I will say this, I don't know if you're currently in a relationship. If you are, that's fine. It may be a good relationship. There might be a history of bad. The Five of Pentacles can indicate a setback, a hardship, being put out in the cold, that sort of a thing. And so there could be a little bit of a reluctance in this department. But this Two of Cups says to me, girl, you've got an option here to really have a loving relationship. There's really an opportunity here to make this happen for you. And this is that fire earth combination, right? This is why it's Southwest SW. Oh, I don't think you can see it on the camera, but this is where we're heading into the earth department. So you have all of this fire up here in all of these wands cards, and then you have this earth down here in your fire department. But this is perfect for love marriage because that is the quintessential, next to the Lovers, that's the best sort of love card in the deck, in my opinion, to have. So if you've had previous setbacks, or if you're in a relationship right now where you might feel a setback, or maybe you've gone through a breakup, that could be this Five of Pentacles, but it was flipped over. So that could be something from the past that still lingers. This says to me something new could be coming, or the relationship that you're in right now could have the potential to be really good and long lasting. So the next card or next area is your Earth section to the west. And this is your creativity. This is ruled by Ox and the sense of touch. This is the Chariot. So Chariot is major arcana. I'm not mad at this card being here. It's again about movement. We have a fair amount of movement between the Chariot and about the Eight of Wands. So I wouldn't be surprised if you find yourself shifting ideas, situations. The other place I'll say that I see there's some movement and change happening is in this Ace of Pentacles down here in your fame sector. So, and this was flipped over, right? So we maybe haven't found this yet, this new idea, but it's here, it's sitting down here. And through hard work and dedication, you can maintain this being practical and moving sort of slowly, paying attention like this turtle. The word on turtle is promise. And when I think of promise, promise can be a commitment, right? From one person to another or from ourselves to ourselves. But promise also is like this idea of like the promised land, like full of opportunity, right? But it's on this turtle, which says to me, and similar to the Seven of Pentacles, it requires work and patience to make the things that we want happen. Now, the Chariot to me would indicate big change. It's associated with the sign of Cancer, which would be mothering, nurturing, all of that sort of stuff. It's usually celebratory, and it is about, in this section, it being about creativity. I wouldn't be surprised if you find yourself thinking new thoughts, thinking in new ways, exploring new avenues, because we see that also up here. And I think that these two are powerful, like earth and water are sort of maybe moving you towards something very new. It could even be this new love that we see here. My feeling is that the main gist of this reading is like whatever's going on here that mentally from the past is hanging heavy, we need to address. And we need to get it like knocked out of there. And we will with the King of Wands there, with the Two of Wands there, even with this beneficial rune there. We have more benefit here. And this really ultimately is the past. So is this rune, right? These things they're deep-seated and they're painful, but they are, they kind of need to go, right? They need to go. So, wait, what's happening? Daughter's mental health is in distress and I'm separated from my husband of 20 years. Well, then if you're separated from your husband of 20 years, I'm going to say there is something out here for you to have something better, Christina, because this says to me that in your love department, you can have it if you believe it. But if you've got this Five of Pentacles sort of setback idea, because if you think about the Five of Pentacles card, it's a family caught in a snowstorm. If you're worried about, say, your family, your daughter, all of that sort of stuff, and it's having an effect on your health and all of this old shit is like working in this sector, it could be keeping this Five of Pentacles coin flipped over in the background and affecting you able to be accessing this new true love that is there for you. Okay. Now, the next sector is the Northwest. This is helpful people. This is also the metal sector. So let's look. We have the Two of Pentacles. I'm going to just put this back on top of it where it was. The Two of Pentacles is about finding balance sometimes in the midst of a little bit of adversity. It's not wrong or bad. There's nothing wrong there. It is Earth. So I'm not bothered by that because we're right next to the Earth sector. So I feel like you're bringing some of that Earth energy in while you're running this Chariot energy here, which is, I wouldn't call it ungrounded, but I would call it a little bit more watery because it's associated with the sign of Cancer. And let me look at what this tarot coin is. This is the Queen of Wands. So we have both the Queen and the King of Wands on this board. That's interesting. And this is in the helpful people sector. Now, a Queen of Wands could be, and helpful people can sometimes be family too. In the helpful people sector, I would be more apt to think that the Queen of Wands might be somebody outside of you, a fire sign female, maybe somebody older, a bit of an authority. She's hiding in the background. She could be like a mother or somebody that maybe you're trying to balance your relationship with her. She might keep her opinions to herself. Maybe you haven't spoken to her in a while because she is flipped over, but I want to look at her because it's funny. It's like she's over here in your helpful people sector and you're over here trying to be your own King of Wands is my feeling. I believe this is you because we have so much wands leading into this reading. I believe this is you trying to sort of harness that power, take control of it, and fix what's going on over here. Now, let me look at what's on top of this balance. This is Eagle, which is spirit vision. Let me see, where does that fit into all of this? It's interesting because Eagle to me is about getting a broader perspective, right? Spirit vision, we have a lot of spirit stuff happening in all of this wands activity over here. I feel like this, maintaining this balance, if there is a specific person, a female that you're having trouble with or that you haven't spoken to in a long time that you care about, maybe she's not really being willing to be helpful to you, or you're struggling with her. This Eagle to me feels like if we can maintain this balance, maybe we can access this Eagle and get that higher perspective and get that sort of more spiritual perspective on this relationship, and potentially, hopefully, heal the relationship or bring the relationship to a better state than where it maybe has been at for a while. I also want to look at this rune here on the outside edge of the line. So let me see, one moment, give me one moment. This is... some of these runes look exactly the same to me. It's so weird. Is this arrows? No. Wait a second. How is... hold on one sec. I think actually this is Hagalaz, which is hailstorm, loss, destruction, and change. And I think this one is two separate pieces. It looks like an N, but it's not. This one, I think, is possibly Jera. It's so hard to tell because some of these, I mean, if you look at them, they look almost identical, right? But this almost looks like it's two sections where that's one. So it's hard to tell. I think this might be Jera, which would be year, change, cycle, rewards, and motion. So if this is Jera, this would mean that this is about, it will be changing. You've maybe been dealing with it for a while, and there will be, you just need to sort of stay with it, stick with it. This could be, if this is Hagalaz, then this is about, I feel like this might be about this relationship with this woman and maintaining balance with her, figuring out a better way or a better perception, a better connection to her. I do want to look at what this animal rune is up here, up above, just to see, because it landed outside. This is horse, and this is movement. And we see that, I told you that this was about movement here. We also see movement here. We see movement in this sector here. We even see potential for movement here by seeing this from a different perspective. We see movement down here in this Pentacles energy. It's moving slow, but it's possible. We need to believe this. Now, when I see this laying here like this above the end like that, it's almost like trying to tell me that this is the theme of the entire reading. Like, it's like, her reading is about movement, right? Where is she moving in her Bagua? Where is she moving in the different sectors? Because you do have things shifting right now. But I will say this, horses are also about personal power, in my opinion. And so finding your own personal power, and I think that you're doing that in certain sectors where you're creating some of this movement, is going to also help to push it forward and make that change. I hope that makes sense. So do you have any questions about that, Christina, before I move on? All right, so you guys, we're full for the night. I just got 3 more. So Marisa, I've got Ashley, then Brittany, and then Marissa. And if I feel after doing those, if I feel like up to doing one more, I might. I'll let you know maybe by the time we get to the second one. I should know if I feel like once I'm doing Brittany's, if I decide I want to add one more on, I might open it up and allow one more person to send in for a fifth one. But right now I only want to commit to 4. So I hope that makes sense, Christina. She says, everything makes total sense. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and all will be well. It will be. All right, so I'm going to clear this board. We're going to get started on the next. I would also say this too, just judging by how things fell out, you had a lot of Wands cards. You also had a fair amount of the metal of the tarot, right? Of the runes and the tarot stuff. You only had 3 little runes and 3 little, was it 3 or only? Yeah, turtle, eagle, and the horse. You only had 3 of the wood show up, right? So metal was also your predominant like throwing tool, and fire forges with earth, forges metal, just so you know. I don't know if that's of any importance to you, but I'm just sharing that with you because I find that interesting, because it kind of says to us what areas and elements in you know, feng shui are we heavy in, or are we operating from? Like if we're being too watery, if we're being too, you know, fire oriented. So fire and metal to me seem to be your predominant, because we had all of that ace of wand, all of the wands there in the metal, but also the wands cards were happening too. All right, so the next person, can I get a Ashley, I believe, is next, correct? Ashley, can you give me a hello into the chat so I can just post you up on the wall? That only took 45 minutes. Well, not the whole reading, but I've been chatting. Hey, Tammy Sylvester, how are you, dear? If you can say hello, Ashley, so I know you're here. You're doing great. I love to hear that, Tammy. That's awesome. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to put up Ashley's name, just so we know who we're working with. All right, Ashley, I'm going to first start to shuffle the deck for your sectors. So give me one moment. So to the north for the career journey. Okay, so that's for your north. Now representing for the northeast for your spiritual connection. For the northeast, for the spiritual connection, for the east, and the element of wood. For health, east, element of wood, and for health. For the southeast, for money and wealth. For the south, for fame. or public notice, public notice. For the Southwest, for love and marriage. Southwest for love and marriage. For the West, for creativity. Let's see those for the West, for creativity. And for the Northwest, for helpful people. Thank you, Christina. Have a great day at work. Go make that money with that Queen of Pentacles energy, girl. All right, so there's our houses. Now we're going to first go to the runes, which is the earth, and see what runes come out. It's $25, Dorothy, but right now I am I'm already full for 4 readings. Once I do this reading, by the second reading, the next one after this, Brittany, if I feel up for taking one more, I will. But I've already got 4. I've done 1 and I'm on my second right now. Okay, so this one went way off the board, so we're not going to take that one. But we will take those. Then for metal. And we're going to take for wood. Okay. All right. So starting in the north in your sector, which is ruled by water, this is career and journey. The first thing that I see is we have dragonfly and it's upright and it says shine, right? Dragonfly is also associated with the element of spirit too to me. So if you see that there, right? And so let's look and see what we have here. This is the 4 of Cups. So to me, I get this instant read on this that it feels like you don't want to step out into your, make any like sort of commitment or decisions to whatever it is you want to do. I feel a little bit of reluctance with this. Hi, Dorothy, how are you? I feel a bit of a reluctance with this. I do like that this is your water sector and it is the 4 of Cups, which is a water element card, right? I feel like there might be some emotional connection or sorting out that needs to happen before you sort of step forward or make that decision. That would also be indicated in that 4 of Cups, right? He's sort of sitting there trying to make a decision. Sometimes he can represent boredom or reluctance. But to me, it's sort of like, I think you're biding your time. And I think that that's okay. Part of the reason why I think that that's okay is because I like that this shine animal spirit, the dragonfly, is there. It says to me that spirit may be around helping you, right? Trying to keep you sort of, when you're ready, they're there to assist kind of thing. And when you're ready, you'll be able to shine or move forward in a way that's positive and abundant and all of that. But right now, there might be a pause in that. You might feel a little bit sort of not stuck, but like you're choosing not to sort of move just yet. not to make any like heavy commitments to that. Now this, I want to see what this rune is because it's kind of like on both sides. So this is, it looks like it's geese, but it says time to move, migration. And so it's funny that that's turned over, right? It was belly down, so we couldn't see it, but it's saying migration. And I'm seeing this idea of I don't want to move up here in the career journey space. And what I mean by that is it's like, it's not like you don't want to move, but you're maybe trying to weigh your options, weigh what feels right, weigh what, you know, and when I say career journey, it can be something as simple as your job, right? But it's also like your path in life. We might be reluctant to make a choice right now because we don't want to make the wrong one, right? And so emotionally, we might be feeling our way through things and going, is this right? Is that right? Is this right? Ultimately, I think you have the opportunity here to really do well. That's the shine and the dragonfly. But you have to make that choice to start to move, to start to bring that about. Now, it's interesting that this lands right on both lines of your spiritual connection and your life path card, or your life path career journey section. So let's look at what the card is first, because it feels like you need to migrate more towards this spiritual connection. We also see this dragonfly here, which to me represents spirit too. It's kind of like these two are trying to connect together to get you moving to where you need to be. So this is the Three of Cups. This is a celebration card. This is a card of nostalgia. This is a card of like enjoying yourself, celebrating, coming together with those that you love, loving yourself, bringing things together in a very positive way. I also like that if you look how I did this, you have the north, which is water. Then I put the water element of the N, and then when I made this board, this gold color was supposed to represent wood because I didn't have a brown pen. So the east is for leading us into east because this is your northeast sector. So we have the water wood element. This is a water card. To me, that feels beneficial, right? That feels good. Your spiritual connection should be something that you should celebrate. It should be like coming home, reaching out to your own connection to spirit, to yourself, to your higher self, to your soul, to your guides, to your higher knowledge. All of that should bring you great joy and bring you a lot of like fun and hopefully empower you, is what this card is saying to me. Now, this was right on top of it, so I just want to see what it is. This is, sorry, chameleon, and it says opportunity. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it says opportunity. So when this is sitting on that, and it was like kind of like this originally, even though the card was flipped over, it feels like to me when we access this, there is this huge opportunity for us to adapt. Chameleons are extremely adaptable, right? They can fit into different situations. They can sort of blend into their surroundings. Not that you need to blend, because ultimately this dragonfly says shine, right? But are you ready right now? Maybe not. That's okay. That's your decision. It's your turn to, when it's your time, and you'll make that decision. Emotionally, you're kind of sorting that out and trying to figure out when that is. There's certainly the desire in your spiritual sector is to feel that joy and that emotional uplift in a very big way. Now, this tarot coin is the 3, 7, 8. This is the 9 of Cups. Again, more water element energy. Is that right? 9, 5, and 4. Yeah, that's 9. The 9 of Cups to me is about being sort of emotionally fulfilled, right? From a very personal level, not necessarily requiring anybody else to fulfill us emotionally. We fulfill our own emotions. We take care of ourselves. And I feel like that's sort of also what's going on here with the 4 of Cups, the 3 of Cups, the 9 of Cups. There's a lot of water up here, but it's okay. This is in your water sort of sector. So this is what you're supposed to sort of maybe be feeling, going through right now, trying to sort out. And you need to start to migrate towards this spiritual connection, towards this feeling of joy, towards this feeling of feeling like emotionally fulfilled, complete, whole, right? And I think that ideally that's part of your path. It's just a matter of when do I go, right? When am I going to get up and move? So let's get into the wood sector of the East. So you have 2 different runes here. So I'm going to look really quick at what the runes are. Hopefully I don't screw up the runes because sometimes they look a little bit wonk to me. So that looks like an M. I'm like, Madonna, Madonna. So this is Edwards, I believe. And it's equality, duality, change, love, and partnerships. And then where's the one that looks like the little tent? Hello, little tent. A little tent. Where is it? Because some of these are sideways. Hold on, there's got to be one. Oh, it's this one. Thrisas, which is thorn, hardship, pain, introspection, and focus. All right, so you've got these two are kind of a little bit in conflict, I would say, right? Because one represents thorn, hardship, pain, introspection, and focus. The other one represents equality, duality, change, love, and partnerships. So let's look at the card here. And remember, this is your health sector. So this actually came out inverted. Interesting. I'm going to take the inversion on this. So this is the Six of Swords. So Six of Swords normally indicates moving to calmer waters, right? It's usually like getting out of a bad situation and moving our way towards a better situation. But to me, this might feel like we might feel a little bit stuck, like we're paddling in the same pond. We might be stuck in a like when this to me, this feels like a relationship thing. And I know that I've read you personally, Ashley, and I think this might be some of what we talked about in your private reading, right? Where we feel like we can't make a decision or we don't know which way to go to find our peace just yet. And we're trying to weigh those two things. And one is about equality and duality and all that. The other is about painfulness, thorn, that sort of thing, like history. And so all of this stuff right here is kind of maybe slowing you down or affecting potentially your mental health, your emotional health, that sort of a thing. So we want to look at that. And again, I'll say this because I said this in Christina's. To me, I don't like the idea of swords being in the wood sector only because it's metal and wood kind of, you know, metal cuts wood. So it's not, that's also not a very, what's the word? Benevolent combination there. If this card were like this, I would say, okay, she's moving on to better things, right? But this feels like you might feel like you're treading water, right? You know, like that idea of like a duck looks calm and serene on the surface, but his little feet are paddling under the water. That's what this feels like to me, right? And so that might be part of the reason why you're unable to address this right now and why you feel stuck here is because you're still dealing with something over here in your health, mental sort of space, trying to make sense of things. Down here in your money wealth department, let's see what this is. This is the Five of Cups. Now this to me is upright. So Five of Cups to me would indicate like sort of that idea of crying over spilt milk. I don't necessarily know that this is sort of a strange card to have for the money wealth department. I would say that it says to me that maybe things aren't the way that you want them to be in your money and wealth department, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be changed, right? This is not like a permanent card. Fives are very transitory. There could be a little bit of an emotional attachment to money or a little bit of like a sort of upset that money doesn't come as easily or as well as it should. And again, depending on what the other cards are, this is also another Cups card. And I just wonder if some of this emotionality and stuff, although I'm not bothered by the emotionality up here because this is the sector for water, like these three, if we find water up here, it's kind of like, to me, it's in line with what's going on in the Bagua. But down here in the fire sector, it's kind of like dampening your ability to earn, right? And that might be stemming from this. I want to see what this rune is because it's like right here at the base. So this is more Cups energy. This is the 10 of Cups. This says to me that Although it's cups, it's sitting down here at the very base of this, meaning if we could flip this 5 or this downtrodden feeling into this feeling of emotional abundance, we could probably change this whole sector. But there's still a lot of emotion, a lot of water down here that I think we might want to put a little more action, a little more desire, a little more drive down into your money sector so that you can feel more emotionally fulfilled, right? Now, down here in the fame or public recognition, this is in the South, we have the Four of Swords. Now, this is actually upside down. It should be this way. So this Four of Swords feels to me like technically the Four of Swords is about hiding, not hiding, but like withdrawing and pulling one's own energy in to meditate, to sort of gather your thoughts, gather your energies, clear your mind, get things together. When this was in the fame sort of public recognition space, I feel like you might be taking the thoughts of others more so over your own, right? You might be letting other people dictate to you or say to you what they think you should be doing. And I think that's something that you might want to look into and maybe not allow yourself to do. Or not allow them to do. It might be something that you do out of an attempt to be a good friend or out of an attempt to sort of take in, there's this indecision about career journey up here about making a choice or committing to something. This might be part of the problem too, because we have this 4 here and this 4 here. They're kind of at odds with one another, fire and water. And so we might have your inability to make a decision could be because you might be taking on board too many thoughts of others about what they think you need to be doing, right? And they may be well-intentioned, these thoughts from others, but they're not yours. And so I would rather see this card this way, where it feels like we're contemplating what we want to do to be recognized, how we want to be recognized, and we're going inward. And that would line up more with like a healthier aspect of this. But I kind of feel like this is now telling me that you might be taking the thoughts, behaviors, or treatment of others and how they treat you into how you're publicly perceived. And that might be stopping you from making the decisions that you need to make to move along your path in a way so that you can truly shine. What I do see here is that there is a lot of opportunity for you to shine. The 9 of Cups is a great card. The 10 of Cups is a great card. The 5 of Cups is transitory, right? It's not necessarily good nor bad, but it's something that like we're dealing with or we're working through right now. And the 6 of Swords isn't a bad card. It's just inverted. So it just says to me that you might feel a little bit stuck or that you're unable to move to where you need to be. Now in the love marriage department, let's see what card this is. This is the Knight of Cups, and it's upside down. He should be like this. So I think somewhere I must have flipped your cards, but I'm going to take it as a reason. There's a reason for it. Girl, I know I've done a private reading for you. I think we talked about you. This showed up in your reading, but in an upright position. I feel like this is our friend, if you know what I'm talking about. And I think you do. I think this is our friend that we talked about. And I think that he needs to be addressed. I think that, again, we see cups down here in the fire department. We see cups and cups. These cups burn out this fire. They put out the fire down here in this sector of the map. So if we don't have any drive down here, if we don't have any feeling of being able to move forward or take action or be excited about stuff right now, and that could be the case. We're also seeing that up here in the 4. It's because of all of this emotional connection to some of these things. It's like sort of pervading and affecting you in certain ways, right? I'm just all upside down here. You're not all upside down. This is upright. This is upright. This one was actually, yeah, no, this should have been. And the 5 of Cups is upright. So you're not all upside down. You only have 3 upside down, 3 upright. You actually have a lot of good things. You have a little bit of conflict between these 2 runes. You have a lot of water, though, like a lot of cups cards, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a lot of cups going on here. So let's see what's going on in the creativity or the earth department to your west. This is Justice, and she is inverted. And we have the Seven of Wands upright, kind of in your helpful people sector and slightly touching your justice department. Seven of Wands can indicate sort of having to fight for your position, right? Standing your ground. I'm not bothered by this though, because this is your metal department. So these two runes right here probably are helping you in some way, or these two coins, because they are metal themselves. So they're in their juncture. And then this is the Knight of Pentacles, which is slow moving energy, but that's flipped over, and this is helpful people. So what I'm going to say here is Justice is Libra energy. It's about balance in our creative world. I feel like with this 4 being upside down and the 4 up there indicating that you're unwilling to make decisions, I don't feel like you feel very balanced, or that you can't get balanced around your space of creativity and maybe making new things happen. If you could get that balance though, that Justice card is the most powerful card on this table so far. So what I mean by that is I feel like, and it's on the earth sector, so I feel like, and she's air element, right? So she's associated with the sign of Libra. I feel like she could be about bringing you a truth to your physical world, to your creativity, to your ability to really shine, to your ability to have this 9 of Cups, to have this 10 of Cups, to have this abundance, but you're not allowing yourself to access her, or you're not feeling connected to her as of yet. That doesn't necessarily mean that you won't be. She's just not being she's not being channeled as of yet, or she's not being connected to as of yet. And I think some of that has to do with some of this nature down here, right? Where we're stuck on a few things about others instead of finding the truth within ourselves and then using that to create what it is we want in the world versus what we're receiving from the world. Now, this last one is helpful people. We have the Knight of Pentacles. He was flipped over though. And we have this 7 of Wands, which says to me there could be some conflict, like there might not be a lot of people around to help you. But there is metal here, so I don't think that's a bad thing. The Knight of Pentacles could be a slow-moving individual, possibly a male. You might have to keep an eye out for him just because he was flipped over. So he's not like readily available or easily seen. And then let me see, what is this? This is Isa, and it's ice, block, stagnant, patience, and rest. And this is in your helpful sector, people sector. And this is the 10 of Cups. Inverted. So again, we have that Cups energy. I'm going to say this. I feel like you don't feel like you have a lot of support from outside. I feel like what support you might feel like you have from outside might be very critical, or not necessarily giving you the support that you feel as though you need so that you can be empowered to kind of move forward and make the decision to support yourself, if that makes sense. I feel like when I look at this whole reading, there could be this idea where you're expecting the outside world or people around you or situations around you to honor you in ways that you need to do for yourself, because I see that that honor is certainly here. The opportunity is this chameleon too, like changing your, this was flipped over originally, so we don't necessarily see this, but adapting and changing to what we need versus what other people see us as is kind of like what I feel like is going on in all of this. Because if we could flip this over, this would be amazing. This would be like the quintessential helpful people card, right? But it's not. So it's feeling like, to me, like you don't feel like you have a lot of help. Like you don't feel like your family is sort of maybe supporting you, or you're, you know, or feeling like maybe that support isn't coming to you in the right way. Like you might have to fight for that support or defend your stance before you're able to receive the support that you feel as though you need. Right? That would be the 7 of Wands there in that tarot coin. So None of this, let me just say this, none of this is like bad or wrong. What it is it's just like there's some work to be done here, right? There's a decision that needs to be made here in regards to our path. We also need to migrate towards connecting to our spirit a little bit more, enjoying that, because the Three of Cups would indicate that that should feel like a homecoming. That should feel amazing to you. That should be a celebration, and that should bring you about this emotional sort of self-sufficiency that allows you to feel this Nine of Cups, right? When we move ourselves to calmer waters through the Six of Swords, which is not a bad card, and we sort of get over the conflict, the win-lose of these two runes in this sort of health, mental space, we also, I think, kind of connect to this Ten of Cups. That opens up this Five of Cups. Our money, wealth department isn't such a bad, you know, this to me feels like it could be slightly depressing or a letdown. We're not feeling very inspired. There could be a bit of depression here where, yeah, you know, we make our money, but like how we make it doesn't really inspire us. But the thing is we have Justice over here in the creativity department. We get her flipped over, and then we get inspired about what it is that we want to make. We replace this Five of Cups with this Ten of Cups energy, and boom, girlfriend, you're on fire about what you're doing, how you're doing it, you feel good, and you're happy to move about making your money in a way that is emotionally like exciting, abundant, all of that. I also think that it's funny that we have the Ten of Cups here and the Ten of Cups here in a card, and these are across the Bagua from each other. So it's almost like if we set this up, who knows, maybe this flips over. And we start to feel supported because we're supported by ourselves, first and foremost. Then this no longer becomes an issue because we can listen to ourselves on what we need, and we can rest when we need to rest. And this mofo, we need to just like let him go and let somebody else come in that's upright, that's giving us the right thing that we deserve. But we need to figure out that we deserve it first. And we do deserve it. I certainly see that in these cards. So that is your reading, Ashley. I hope that makes sense. And Ashley went to sleep. Just kidding. So we had 3 wood, we had 3 runes, we have 4 tarot coins. So that's rather balanced. That feels kind of like a good blend of those. Like you're not leaning too heavily in any of those ways. Where you are leaning heavily is in the water department in your cups. You have the 3, the 4, the 5, the 10. You also have the 9 and 10 in the coins too, and the Knight of Cups. So you do have a lot of like emotional, watery energy that can also be sort of ambiguous and hard to, you know, what's the word? Not master, but, you know, keep stabilized in a way. She's soaking it up, exactly, because all that water, girl. Soak away, girl. You're welcome, Ashley. And you're going to start by letting the mofo go. That's sort of weird. I just want to make sure, I'm checking the deck really quick to make sure that they're all upright. Because I must have set them down upside down like that. That's sort of weird. Because usually I'm pretty good about knowing which is the top of the deck. That's weird because none of these cards are upside down in the deck. How the fuck did I do that? Oh well, there's never a mistake. I mean, unless that didn't make sense to you, Ashley, but like none of these cards are upside down. Okay. All right. All right, Brittany, Miss Brittany. You ready to go? And then after Brittany is Marissa, I think. I hope Marissa's still here. Thank you for being patient, Marissa. These two take a little minute. Is Brittany here? Oh, let's go. Okay. All right, so we're up to Brittany now. Okay, Brittany. So let's do your North career snake energy. What's going on for Brittany in the North? Okay, your North. Now for the Northeast. So for the Northeast, for the East for health, East for health, and for the Southeast for money and wealth. The Southeast for money and wealth. And for the South for fame and public recognition. The South for fame and public recognition. And then the Southwest. The Southwest for love and marriage. Then we have the West for creativity. The West for creativity. And then the Northwest for helpful people. All right, Northwest for helpful people. Okay. Now, the runes. Okay. Oh, it should go metal next, sorry. Okay. All right. So we got 3, 3, and 3, I just noticed, of the runes, tarot coins, and all of that. So that's a kind of a nice balance. So I'm going to start up here in the career journey area, right, in the north for you, Brittany. You ready to go? Okay, Marissa is still there? Okay, great. So in the north, in the career journey snake area, we have, the first thing that I noticed is you have cleansing vulture up here, right? And vultures are interesting birds, right? Because they're kind of ugly and people don't really like them, right? But they do sort of clean up the roads and highways and byways. They take whatever they need. They, they sort of clean up the carcasses and they eat kind of the things that like sort of others wouldn't want to. So I don't think that that's a bad thing. I just that's what I'm associating the vulture with. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but let's look at the card and see if I can make sense of that. So this is the Queen of Cups. I will take this in the water department. That's great. The cleansing could be that Queen of Cups energy. She would be cups upon cups, right? She would be definite like water upon water energy. And I find it interesting that you have one of the three, each of the three in this department. You have a wood rune, you have a earth rune, and you have one of the metal coins that's kind of buffeting both your spiritual connection and your career path thing. So let me see what this rune is really quick. This is oh, Jesus Christ, they all look the fucking same to me. I might have to get rid of the runes, but let me see here. I think this is Hagalaz again. Hailstorm, loss, destruction, change. Because it's not looking... It looks like this N to me, Hagalaz. Yeah, I'm going to go with Hagalaz. So we've got hailstorm, destruction, loss, or change. But what I find interesting about this being hailstorm is that we have the Queen of Cups. This is your water sector, right? There might need to be some change. Cleansing also would be that sort of emotional sort of let go or that cleansing of sort of the tears, the emotions, all of that sort of stuff. This hailstorm, loss, change thing, I don't think that that's a bad thing in this case. I think with the cleansing idea of the vulture and with the Queen of Cups, to me, it speaks to the idea that ideally, maybe we need to be emotionally connected to what it is we're doing. With that Queen of Cups there, I feel like maybe you are, or hopefully you are, but there just feels like there might be something that needs to be changed or altered there that you might be emotionally feeling right now. I want to look at this, is the Three of Cups. This should be about celebration. This should be about sort of coming together, enjoyment, that sort of a thing. But to me, it's interesting because the cups feel like they're pouring out of this sector. Like, I almost want to ask you, and you don't have to answer this personally, Brittany, but I just want to put this idea in your thought. Do you feel emotionally connected to sort of where you're at in your journey on your career path? I kind of feel like maybe you don't. And I feel like this Queen of Cups is well aware of that. I don't think that this is a bad card. I just feel like you're not feeling like you're quite there, and you can't understand why. And there might be some sort of I don't want to say a breakdown, but like the vulture up there, the cleansing is making me feel like you might need to have some sort of like big cry or big release to let go of some of this emotional stuff. There might be something going on here that you're doing this for others, because the Three of Cups can indicate other people too, and that you love them and you enjoy them, and you might be holding on to something that might you're doing it more so for others than for yourself. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, because that would also be the love of the Queen of Cups too. She would do something like that. It's very self-sacrificing. It's very so it's kind of got that vibe. But remember, this is your career. This is your journey. The other interesting thing is that this is the water sector. So we have the Queen of Cups, we have cleansing, which also, when you cleanse something, you associate that with water. You have the hailstorm, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of watery. And you have the Three of Cups all in this water sector. So that's kind of a lot, like, I think, right? So this might weigh a little bit emotionally heavy on you in this sector for right now. So let's just get into the rest of this reading and see, because some of this Three of Cups does connect into your spiritual connection. So I want to see what's going on here. Now, in your spiritual connection, you have the Knight of Cups. Interesting. This is usually a love offering, or somebody that does things for the right reasons. This might be, you might be a terminal romantic. I feel like this could be you, to be honest. It could be somebody outside of you, like a gentleman or like your partner, but I kind of feel like this should be more about you and your connection to yourself. So I feel like this is exploring that and trying to find that. I love that you have the Queen and the Knight here in this water department, but it does feel a little like heavy on the water. I also feel like this feels like, to me, your Knight is telling you to kind of get up and move. Like, don't, I don't know why I want to say this, but I want to say, like, don't stay stuck in this sort of emotional, maybe, I don't think that it's mire, but I feel like you might be doing something or making choices in your life path right now that is in regards to other people and their needs, and putting them in front of you in a very big way that you're aware of, that is not like, how do I want to say this? Like, it's not, like, my feeling is it's not suiting you. Even though the Queen of Cups is not a bad card, I just feel like it's not suiting you. She looks a little forlorn there. It's like she doesn't feel fully, it's like she's doing it for others is the feeling I'm getting. And she needs to kind of release that and let it go. Move more into this, like, the strength of this Knight of Cups and this spiritual connection. Allow that love to also carry over into this, but you can also love others and still do for yourself, right? Still take up your own sort of banner, your own flag, your own defense, and move towards the thing that you love, that you want. Up here you have owl, and the owl here is associated with the word spirits, right? Which I like that that's in your spiritual connection space. And to me, the owl is always knowledgeable too. So like, he represents knowledge. So it feels to me like you would know what this is, or where this is at, or the importance of this to you. This importance of, like, this change that needs to take place, or this movement that you need to move towards, and you need to move towards it. That's also the Knight of Cups too, is like moving towards it in love, right? In spiritual connection to it, in excitement, in all of those sort of things. That almost, when you do that, when you actively do that, that almost turns this Three of Cups upright. And that's when you can enjoy and you can celebrate, and you can still take care of those that you love, but you don't have to do it at the expense of yourself, if that makes sense. Now, in the East, we have in the wood department, which is your health sector, we have the Two of Swords. To me, again, we have, all you ladies have swords up in your wood, girls. I don't know what is going on. It's not like it's a horrible thing, but to me, it just doesn't feel like the best suit to have in this sector. The wood feels at odd to the metal, right? But in the health sector, there might be something that you're not addressing, something that you're not looking at, something that you're not wanting to deal with, right? There could be something here that, and I'm not saying that you're sick or anything like that. I'm saying that there might be something that you, like, mentally don't want to look at because you don't want it to affect your health. or you don't want it to slow you down. We do have a little bit of emotional stuff going up here. So if we were like, look at it, or like, you know, allow this in, it could maybe screw up our get up and go. So it's like, let's not. And so we're maybe avoiding something or not looking at something that we know is there or that we need to look at. Down here, you have the 10 of Pentacles, which is not a bad thing. This is actually a very beneficial tarot coin, and it borders both your health and your money and wealth. So I like that, because that would definitely coincide with this money department. And it's also on the metal coin, which is across from the metal sector, right? So to me, that's a great way to show that money finance to you. What is this guy? This is that thorn one again. What is this one called? Thorn. It is thorn, hardship, pain, introspection, and focus, right? So let me look at this card. You also have Fox here, which is magic. I also think Fox is cunning or intelligence. And we have the Page of Cups down here. So now we have 3 Cups cards, 3 Court Cups cards at the same time. I feel like this is the deal. You know, somewhere in your life, career journey, in your path work, that you might not be being true to yourself on some level. That's my feeling. And spiritually, you need to sort of move towards that. Like, you need to take up the helm, be the adult, connect to spirit, do what you need to do to get moving towards that. This Page of Cups feels like in your money sector, yeah, you make money. Yeah, you're fun. You're likable. It's great. The Page is a sweet card. He's wonderful, but he's not the most active money maker, right? He's not the most like influential card of the deck. I do like that we have this 10 of Pentacles sort of sitting here in the background down in the bottom of both the health and the money department, which says to me you could have a lot if you applied yourself more, is almost the feeling that I get. Or if you took more sort of responsibility, more focus. Remember, the last word for this was focus too, this rune, even though it was hardship, loss, whatever, a thorn. Focus was also part of this rune too. So if we added more focus to what's going on, stopped putting blinders on to whatever this is that we feel like we might not want to look at or deal with, which could be some of what's going on up here because we don't want it to affect our health, we could open up the door to earn quite a bit of money. That's also this magic of Fox. And Fox is cunning. He's swift, he's cunning, he's smart. You have all of that ability, but it's sort of like maybe you're not owning it with that Page of Cups down there, not acknowledging it, trying to keep it light and fun, or, you know, trying to make it less of a stressful area for you. I don't feel like this is stressful. I just feel like it's like it's heavy. Like it can be a bit of a burden, but you do it for others because you care about them. That's my feeling. You like put your stuff on hold so that others can be happy. So let me look at this FENG sector down here in the south and see what we've got going on down here. We've got the King of Pentacles. So I feel like you have all the opportunity to do really, really well. Like I would want to see him here. I almost would want to see him there. Not that the Queen of Cups is a bad card. She's just emotions upon emotions. And I just, with this turned upside down the way that it was, it just felt like you might be pouring out your cups in an effort to please others that you love and not yourself. The King of Pentacles says to me that you have every opportunity to be recognized. You have every opportunity to create what it is that you want. He's a very powerful card to be down here, I feel like. He's also like sort of close to the southwest, which would be the earth energy, and he is earth energy. So he's kind of like that bridge there. And he's next to this Fox magic card, which to me, rune, which says to me that you could work a lot of, you could get noticed, you could get notoriety, fame, be seen, be appreciated in the work that you do. And that might be because of the giving nature that I see that's here, right? People might notice that and acknowledge that if you do that sort of in the workplace for coworkers or bosses or whatever. It may help you, right? But he's a very strong card to have here. I don't mind him. You've got like a lot of court cards too. All right, so let's see here. So in the love and marriage department in the Southwest, we have the Page of Pentacles. Jesus Christ, girl, this is like a goddamn theater production. Page of Pentacles is Pentacles is earth energy. I'm not bothered by him being here because this is the Southwest, which we're heading into the earth sector. But the Page of Pentacles is not the fastest or brightest of energies. Let's just say that. So in your love marriage department, this could feel like things are moving a little bit slower than you want. They might not feel like they're happening the way you thought that they would. Then not that they're horribly bad, but you're just not quite getting exactly what you want when you want it or the way you thought you wanted it. Especially with him being close to this King of Pentacles, I kind of feel like this King of Pentacles knows that you deserve more, right? Or that like there might be something underneath you that understands that you know that you deserve more. Even with all of these court cards, I feel like you kind of know that. But you, for some reason, I don't know why, but with this sector, I feel like you maybe put it on hold or you're not fully taking commitment or responsibility for it. But as you do that, these things should happen. That would then, I kind of feel like if you did take that responsibility for it, then this Page of Cups in your money department doesn't necessarily feel like a bad thing. It feels like he could, with the magic of the fox, there could be some beautiful magical money making going on down here through open thought and creativity that you didn't necessarily otherwise see, right? So over here in your creativity portion to the west is the Queen of Pentacles. Girl, what is going on here? I got to look at helpful people just because if it's another court card, I'm going to freak out. It's the Two of Cups. Okay. All right. So that's weird, though. You do have like a shit ton of court cards. I mean, like the odds of that is crazy. So the Queen of Pentacles in your creativity section, she is earth in your earth sector. I don't mind that at all. I love this. I feel like if you got creative or you channeled your creativity coupled with this page, or this king down here in your fame and sort of public recognition sector, you could do some real money damage. We see this 10 of Pentacles there too, so I think that that's possible. I also think that that actually opens up this Page of Cups to make a little bit more money because of his magical optimism. So I'm not bothered by that there. Let's see what this tarot coin is. This is the 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands would indicate letting go of a burden. It's interesting that you have two wands here. You have earth and fire. Earth and fire create metal. Fire is here. Earth is here. Metal is here. Metal is the two of, your helpful people is the Two of Cups. I almost want to say, and this is going to sound really strange, but I kind of feel like, and let me see, what is this? You have this rune up here too. This is that. What is this rune doing? This is that V. Let me see what this is. Knowledge, wisdom, insight, creativity, and inspiration. I think that's what this one is. It looks like that to me. Okay, so this is like right here on the border. I feel like what this is saying to me is like this card should be over here, but it's not, because you need to address all of this stuff and get this stuff working and going. The helpful people to me feels like this is not necessarily family or friends. This feels like love. Like, and this, I feel like this comes in later. I don't know why I feel that way, but I feel like you have such strong cards in like the fame department, the creativity department, even this Page of Cups. At first, I didn't feel like he was super strong, but when I see the magic of this and then the King of Pentacles here, I feel like that boosts his strength. The creativity of the Queen of Swords, she's about fertility, right? The only thing that kind of excuse my language, but fucks me off in a way, is the Page of Pentacles here in the love and marriage department says that this department has to move slow because you need to get sort of some of these other departments and these things like it's not that they're not moving, but like that they have the capacity to move in such a way that it can be really amazing. And then when that happens, that's when you end up with, in the helpful people sector, is like you and your partner feeling really, connected to one another. Or the help that you're getting from people around you is going to be really based in love, similar to like sort of the love that I feel like you're giving away here by sacrificing yourself at this time. But I also feel like you sort of master this one, like this one, and this one, and this kind of goes away, and this becomes your actual real situation. And it's like that's your love, even though it's in the helpful people sector. I believe that that's out there for you, waiting to happen. Hey, Kenny, we're doing only paid readings tonight. Thank you for asking. But I mean, I'm also full for tonight. I've taken everybody that I can. So I've got one more to go. And so unfortunately, I can't tonight. But you can always follow the business page or the YouTube channel and tune in when next time I go live. So does that make sense, Brittany? I love that you have all of these court cards, girl. This is like hard to pull off. And it's funny, you have all of these court cards, and then you have the Two of Swords, and you have the Two of Cups, and everybody else is courts. And you have two tens. And you have three wood chips, you have three metal coins, and you have three rooms, 333. So like, it's really sort of interesting how kind of strangely balanced your reading is in that regard. You have two pages, you have two queens. It's really interesting. I think so. I think things could be very blissful. I think that here's the thing, as far as in the love department, you're going to have to wait. That Page of Pentacles says to me, this is not what's important. This will come. You've got bigger fish to fry with this Queen of Pentacles in your creativity sector. You've got this King of Pentacles in your fame sector. You've got the, even, I like with the King and Queen here, and even the Queen of Cups up here in the water department, and the Knight of Cups in your spirit space. I'm like, girl, like you got a lot going on that once you get all that lined up, you get your pick of whoever you want as far as helpful people, and they're all going to love you. Court cards, to me, they're just sort of, usually they're players outside of ourselves, but since this is a Bagua reading about you and your sectors of your life, in response to like sort of the placement of Feng Shui, right? And we're looking at the different areas in reference to the directions, right? And so we're honoring the directions and those powers. We're also honoring the elements of earth, fire, wood, metal, all of that going on in here. So it's just kind of like bringing all of that together, and it's letting us know where everything is at. With all of these queens and kings and stuff like that, it says to me that you could be quite accomplished in the end. Right? These aren't like situational cards. These are full-fledged beings, or, the court cards represent, generally in a traditional reading, they would represent people outside of ourselves. So these are like fully fledged kind of, and even the Two of Cups to me is like fully fledged love in a really beautiful way. So you have really good stuff here. Like the way I would interpret these kings and queens is that this is your opportunity to sort of step up into your authority, your authenticity, your creativity, your who you are, what you do, how you bring it to the table. Make no excuses for it. Own it, love it, enjoy it. Don't like sacrifice it for others. use it for yourself first and foremost, and then for the benefit of others. And you will, because that Two of Cups in that helpful people sector says to me, people will appreciate you. People will understand and see the value of what you are and who you are. Don't base your worth on whether or not how your love relationship is going or how your marriage might be or when that's coming or any of that sort of stuff. There's other stuff going on here that's far more, like, I would say, powerful in a way that should be not worked upon, but like focused upon, so that it becomes your new normal, and you can, really be the most you can be without sounding like a damn, whatchamacallit commercial, a army commercial. Be all that you can be. I think you should, girl, because these are some powerful cards for sure. All right, I'm going to clear this off so we can get to Marissa. Miss Marissa, thank you everybody for buying readings. I really appreciate it. You help to keep me supported during these times of COVID. Thank you for supporting my business. I hope that you guys make these changes as you see fit and as what feels right for you. There's really beautiful stuff out there for you. So, Miss Marissa, are you ready to go? All right, Marissa Leslie. Is that you, right? Marissa Leslie, yes? I want to make sure I don't have some other Marissa trying to jump in here and steal your reading. All right, that is you. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go to Marissa Leslie's North, career, and journey. Okay, so to the north. Now for the northeast, for the spiritual connection. To the east for the health. For the southeast for money and wealth. For the south for FENG. For the southwest, which is love. Then for the West, for creativity. And then for the Northwest, which is helpful people. Hey, Amanda Joe, how are you? Okay. All right, so then we go to our runes, which represent the earth in the West, where they fall. Okay, interesting. And then we've got to go to the Northwest for metal. Oh, there's the the bag thing. One fell off the board, so I'm going to just put it in the bag. And then we've got to the east for wood. Okay. All right, so we have, I just want to look at this really quick. We have 4 wood pieces, 4 wood runes. We also have 4 earth runes. We have only 3. There was a 4th that fell out, but I threw it back in the bag because it didn't hit the board. So it's not going to count. But so we have a 4-4-3 there, which is interesting. We're going to start in the north. I'm going to look up the rune first. That looks like, which one is that? Manaz, man, human, self, family, or humanity. Okay. Man, human, self, or humanity. All right, interesting. Because you also have praying mantis, which is the wooden rune, right? Which is stillness. And so this man, I want to read that to me again, because it's sort of weird to me. Manaz, man, human, self, family, humanity. And then we talk about stillness. It's this sort of thing about like connecting with the self is what I feel like when we're talking about man, human, self, and then your connection to humanity. And this is your career journey or your path. I just want to see what the rune is here. I mean, this is the 6 of Cups. Okay. So you have, what I find interesting too in this area is you have 1 of each, which I like that, right? That feels kind of balanced. I also like that praying mantis and stillness and man, human, self kind of a thing is this sort of introspection that's going on for you. Ideally, I hope it's going on for you, or I hope you can connect to Marissa. Now, I want to look at the card that's underneath this really quick, just to see what represents for this sector. So this is the 5 of Swords. So the 5 of Swords would indicate air element energy, which is not neither here nor bad in a water sector to me. That doesn't bother me. 5s are also transitional, right? And it's interesting to me because the 5 of Swords is usually a battle that's been won at a loss, right? So like when we're in an argument with someone and we're trying to prove our point, we work really hard at proving our point. And when we do, we think it has worked, but it doesn't really pay off in the way that we thought it would, right? It doesn't really feel like it made a whole lot of sense to us. Now, when I look at this man sort of, and this stillness, to me, I feel like there might be something in your world where you feel a little bit at odds with the world around you. 5s are transitory, so this isn't going to stay this way for a long time, but it doesn't feel like you maybe feel connected, right? Now, this coin here, this tarot coin is the 6 of Cups. This is all about emotional connection, right? And this is in your water sector, and Cups is also water, but it was flipped over, which says to me that it's like, this is who you are or want to be, or used to be in some way, shape, or form, or need to be. It's that kind of desire underneath it. But right now you've been dealing with some sort of struggle in your path, right? In your calling. Maybe it's fighting with people that you love. Maybe it's fighting with, it doesn't have to be fighting per se, but it's like discourse with the world around you. It could be something as simple as like, you know, you turn on the news and you're disgusted with everybody. You're like, oh my God, I don't understand. The world has gone fucking buck wild and I can't deal with it, right? This is who you want to be though. The Six of Cups indicates like family, nostalgia, love, caring, balance, all of those sort of things. And with this stillness of the praying mantis and this man self-humanity, and again, like I said, this Five of Swords could just be something where you're like trying to figure out your path in the world right now, and you're like, do I even really want a path in this world? Because these people look like they are fucking nuts. What is this, The Walking Dead? You know what I mean? Where like everybody's out for themselves. I think that's what's going on in this sector. I'm not bothered by it. There's actually a really nice balance to everything that's going on in here, because you have swords, which would be like air element. You have one wood, you have one earth, you have one metal, you have cups in the metal, which is water. So you have this nice balance. The only thing that's missing in here is some fire, right? And some earth. But like, it's not like a bad thing. It's like, I feel like in the stillness, you're going to sort this out for yourself and be able to make a decision. But right now you might feel a little bit undecided because of this Five of Swords. You might feel a little bit like detached from people or misunderstood by people, or that like things didn't work out the way you thought that they were supposed to, although your highest ideal was this idea of being bonded and together and, you know, in family and appreciation and love, right? So let's just like say that for now. What is this red thread? Where did this come from? Maybe from the bag. There's a couple red threads on here, sorry. So that's interesting to me. So that's in your north and that's in your career journey thing. So that might be something that you're working on right now. It could be a bump in the road right now where you're kind of feeling like not really connected to any, desirous of any one thing just yet. But in this stillness, in this sorting of this out and figuring out where you fit into all of this grand scheme of things, you will get there. And it's also about finding it and figuring it out emotionally for yourself. Now let's go. And the other thing I want to say too, you have two really interesting tarot coins that are both upright in the center. One's in the yin and I don't know which one's yin, which one's yang, but it's kind of like they're almost, you know, one's in the white, one's in the black, and one is the Magician and one is Temperance. Both are major arcana coins. So the Magician is about creativity, about having access to all sorts of resources, all of our resources, and making those resources work for us, being sort of like, you know, kind of calling things into being. But then Temperance is about really manifesting and maintaining that balance and being careful at staying in a state of peace and not being too sort of, you know, forceful in any one direction, right? It's sort of, you've got, I believe, Aquarian and then Sagittarian energy here. So these two things to me are sort of interesting happening here in the center, because this is certainly not necessarily touching anything, but I feel like all of the sectors that touch this black kind of are influenced by this in the subconscious, and what this Temperance affects these areas over here, right? And I like that they're both kind of equal in their power. One, Magician, being more active and action-oriented, creative in a sense. Temperance being more about maintaining balance, withdrawing. It's like the light and dark of the yin-yang symbol in the center, okay? Now, let's go into the northeast in the spiritual connection. I'm going to look at the card first. So we have the Judgment card. This is answering the call. This is answering the spiritual call. I mean, for Christ's sakes, there's an angel, the Archangel Gabriel's on there, right? And so it's like answering that spiritual call. The spiritual call for you, I believe, is probably rather strong. That's why we see this stillness. That's why we see this man's self, humanity sort of rune sitting over in here. To me, it feels like Some of this stuff may affect you rather deeply when you're dealing with it in the outside world, and it might be hard to pick a path or choose and stay on the path because you might be kind of sometimes getting derailed or have to fight for that path. The Judgment card is a very strong spiritual card that sits there in your spirit space. It's calling you at all times, and I think that that's a beautiful thing. The word over this, or the rune that was over this, is the bluebird, which is the word is choice, the blue jay. And so it's face down. And so I feel like maybe we need to make a choice. Are we going to answer this call, this bigger, greater existence that we want in our life, this desire? Are we afraid to rise up to it, right? Let's look at what the runes are. So you have one rune, which is like the R rune, which is Rido, which is ride, journey, change, destiny, and travel. That's this one. And I want to see what this is. This is like a P. This is Wunjo, joy, success, recognition, and contentment. So I'm going to say this, girl. And I know you're new to me, so you might think I'm cuckoo, but like what I'm going to tell you here is if you make this choice, if you balls up and excuse my language, but if you like really man up and make this choice to like kind of connect to the call that's within your soul, there's some big gifts in here for you. Like really big gifts in here. I mean, let me just reread those runes to you. Wunjo is joy, success, recognition, and contentment. And Rido was ride, journey, change, destiny, and travel. So I feel like this choice, this call in your spiritual center could take you places you couldn't even imagine is what's happening here, or what I feel like is happening here. I also feel like too, birds are definitely harbingers or messengers of spirit. So it's interesting that the blue jay shows up here too, because to me, it feels like spirit definitely wants to contact you. Like they trying to call on the phone, girl, pick up. So here's your health, or the east, and this is the element of wood. Let's see what we've got going on here. And remember, the magician is touching all of these sort of areas, right? So he's underneath here, kind of in the background. The power of the magician is sort of, how do I want to say this? Like from your subconscious, maybe creating some of this stuff. You get the Two of Cups. This is beautiful here to me. And the reason why I say this is because wood and water sort of work well together, like in the Northeast, when you need water to create wood, when you water a tree, or it makes the wood grow stronger, right? And so when we have this Two of Cups, it even has the catechist of like sort of a doctor's catechist there. To me, this says that like your health, ideally, hopefully your mental health and well-being is good. But to me, this indicates that things should be really good in this department for you. Like I would be surprised if you told me, oh, my left arm's fallen off and I have, bipolar depression, because this does not indicate that to me. This indicates actually there's quite a peaceful person within you. I feel like the place where I see any discord right now for you, Marissa, is here. And this isn't even that much discord. This is more about not feeling like you can understand the world around you and why they do what they do. I almost want to say, just looking at these three sections, I wonder if you're a bit of an empath. Just because, or there's something either psychic going on about you, and certainly empathic, this stillness, this self, man. I mean, we'll get into the other cards. Maybe, who knows, maybe you're a total hot mess down here. I don't know. But these to me feel very peaceful, very calm, very maybe even introverted in a way. And then this magician is underneath all of it, which says that there is a magic to you. There is this specialness to you that you might want to, if you're not acknowledging, you need to acknowledge it. But I think that you are acknowledging it. I think that you might be a little bit more sensitive than others. And maybe people have told you your whole life, oh, don't be so sensitive or whatever. Bullshit. There's something very beautiful about what's going on here. Now, in your money wealth sector down in the Southeast, let's see what that is. This is the Seven of Pentacles. Not a bad card for this sector, right? It doesn't say that you're going to be rich, though, girl. But we did see some of that success up here in this spiritual connection thing. So if you want to do some sort of spiritual work or something with humanity, like I don't even know if you're into some sort of social work or taking care of others, maybe even in healing people because of this Two of Cups in the health department, you could be like a nurse or something. I don't know. There's something about this that's all really good. But this says to me that this is about you're willing to do the hard work. There is a harvest to be had here. There is money to be had here, but it doesn't come like, say, super easy. Like you're the type of person that would take the steps to do. You are a nurse. That's this. Oh, but and that's fine, and it's hard work, but it's fruitful, and it brings you. To me, I feel like it brings you reward, right, through that hard work. It may not be easy, but it brings you can reap the benefits, and it may take time, but there is stuff to be sort of harvested from this. That's kind of this card. This card is a little bit about patience, but and it's also about dedication, and it's about just sort of like being in the moment and doing what's right in front of you and kind of just waiting for it to come, because it will come. Okay. Now the next card is your fame area. This is down in the south. This is the fire sector of your chart. So this is the King of Pentacles. Whoa, we just saw this for the last reading. He was in here for Brittany, right? All right, so this is a beautiful card to have down here in the fame recognition department. This says to me that you can set your mind to doing whatever it is you need to do. I think through working hard and keeping your sort of nose to the grindstone, you are going to get noticed. You are going to get honored. There probably is going to be things like promotions, acknowledgments, things like that will come about for you very easily. Again, we have this temperance that's sort of affecting these two areas mostly, I would say. I feel like there might be a flow up into these areas from this temperance card, but temperance is about maintaining that balance. Temperance is about peace, staying grounded, but also being connected to your emotions. But I already get that feeling that you kind of already are. I mean, there's a lot of earth with these runes and things, and you have some earth going on down here in the Pentacles, but you also, I just feel like with the Six of Cups and some of these more spiritual things, I feel like you are an emotional person. You can, and this Two of Cups, you do connect emotionally and you do it well, right? So this says to me, temperance is that idea of maintaining both of those things and then keeping that balance and really keeping that peace for yourself and maybe others, right? It's also associated with the sign of Sagittarius and the planet Jupiter, which can be about really beneficial expansion for you. And that's affecting this King of Pentacles. So I think that you could do quite well in your lifetime or in your world as far as being recognized for the gifts and the abilities that you have and the skill set that you have. Now, in the love marriage department, let's look at this. This is the High Priestess. So I'm going to say this. I have a feeling, and I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that your love marriage department doesn't come easy to you. I'm not so sure if it's elusive, like you can't understand quite why you can't get things to work out in this department, or you don't necessarily, you might be a real picky person, like in the sense that like not a lot of guys live up to your standards. The High Priestess is like, she is major arcana. She's a pillar card. She's about spiritual. And I love that she's across from the Judgment card. So she's a very spiritual card too. But it's like, if it's not going to be that real spiritual connection, then I'm not interested, is kind of the feeling that I get. Or it's like, no matter who you date, maybe it doesn't work out and you're like, I can't fucking figure out why. What is the problem? What is it, me? Like, what's wrong with me? And that would be the secrets that this High Priestess keeps, right? She doesn't necessarily let you see everything all at once. And I feel like part of the reason why that is because this sector up here is telling you, girl, answer the call, like clock in and go to work, so to speak. Like, I'm not saying you're not spiritually connected, because I believe that you are with this Six of Cups and with this Two of Cups here. I think that you actually very much are aware, but I think that there's so much more for you to tap into. Even this High Priestess says to me that if she's an aspect of you, you're a powerful woman, and not any old Joe will do, right? And so that's maybe the reason why relationships have not necessarily always worked out in the past. You might have been intimidating to certain men. You might have not let them fully see who you are, because that high priestess, she carries those secrets with her. You maybe even have, I don't know. I don't want to say that you've dumbed yourself down in certain situations, but to me, it could represent that, where you've kind of hidden yourself and your true nature to kind of keep other people happy. And you're like, nah. And so it's not about doing that for anymore, right? I feel like this high priestess is about the love of herself, and then the rest will come. So let's look at what's going on here in the West, in the creativity department. So the first thing that I see is this is the word camouflage, and it is caution. Okay, because there's 4 of these runes that are about like animal habits. Like that's why we saw not hibernation. Hibernation is one of them, but we saw migration as one. It's not an actual animal, it's an animal habit, and this is camouflage. And then we have this one, which is migration. Okay. Both of these were flipped over. So I want to see what this is about. This is the King of Cups in your creativity department. And it says camouflage, which is caution, and migration, which is time to move. But both of those were sort of flipped over. And what I'm going to say about this section here, because the King of Cups in your earth department, in your creativity, next to that queen or that high priestess. Okay, so the high priestess is usually signified by the sign of Pisces, which is a water sign. King of Cups is also water. Water and earth aren't bad, right? They are okay. They work well together, especially in tarot. I love that we have the high priestess over here in love and marriage. She's kind of secretive and not quite easy to impress. We've got the King of Cups over here in creativity. I feel like I want to say that you are super sensitive, not super sensitive, but like you can be a sensitive Sally. Let's just say that in a very beautiful way. This camouflage and this migration, time to move, it says to me that like the King of Cups is sort of this loving, emotional king, right? But he sometimes doesn't have the easiest job of expressing his emotions, because he can be so emotional, but sometimes emotions can be seen unbecoming of a king, right? So I feel like sometimes the Queen of Cups is a little bit better of an emotional card, because she's able to express herself more easily because she's the queen, where the king is not necessarily. He's loving, he's endearing, he's all of these wonderful things. And when I see this in your creativity department, it says to me like this is where you're kind of most happiest. It's also directly across from your health department with this 2 of Cups here, right? So like when you find this love that we see here in this 2 of Cups, that like needs to impress this high priestess, and also needs to acknowledge and not like, what's the word? Like not harm this King of Cups in a way. It's going to be beautiful for you. The thing is I think that the caution and the migration mean like you might hide this aspect of yourself, similar to how we see this high priestess keeping secrets a little bit. There might be a vulnerability to you that is a little bit deeper than most. That's also the balance of this Temperance card, the beauty and the gentleness of this Temperance. This Temperance coin here is like, to me, these feel like a very special personal place to you, right? And so we guard this to be careful. We guard this because we understand the sensitivities and the, I hope, the beauty of it all, right? And the specialness of it all. And I want to think, because this is the high priestess and because this is the King of Cups, you have an awareness of that part of you. You have an understanding of who you are and the sensitivities and the loving nature that you can possess. But I don't necessarily know that you allow or share that with everybody, because you might have a really good understanding of how the world works. And we see that here. And as much as you want to be connected in that nostalgia of the 6 of Cups, this world doesn't necessarily always allow us to be that vulnerable, right? So you're vulnerable in areas where you can be, and I think that it works for you. But there's to me, there's just this real, it's an interesting, like, reading as far as there's a real beautiful soul here, is how I feel. And it's up to you when and where to share it, obviously. But I think that the more that you connect to it in this sector, there's a lot of gifts to be had. A lot of gifts all over this board. All right, so let's go to the last sector, which is helpful people in the Northwest. And this is, let me see what this guy is. So this rune is, this is Ansu's air, leader, justice, teacher, intelligence, and communication. So I'm not mad at that. We'll take it. And let's see what this is. Justice. Did I not just say justice on that? Wait, hold on. Air, leader, justice, teacher, intelligence, communication. I love it. All right. So in helpful people, this is kind of like people outside of yourself or situations outside of yourself and how they help you. They should be able to see who you are and what you're about, right? They should be able to bring in strong balance. Justice is a major arcana card, so you should have access to help from others. I believe that they see the hard work that you put in. I believe that they see sort of, they may not see everything because there's some things here that I think you hide from people. But you do that out of a not a need to protect yourself, but you understand. My feeling is I think that you understand how important this guy is, and so you keep him safe or you keep him to yourself. Like I wouldn't be so surprised if you had some sort of secret. Not that he represents secretness necessarily, but he's so sort of emotionally vulnerable. Like if you had some sort of creativity, what's the word? Like hobby, like you write poetry in secret, or you play music and guitar and write your own songs in secret, and you've never played songs for anybody else. Like that's the vibe that I get there. I don't know if that's true about you, but like it's kind of got that sort of combination to it. And maybe it's time to change that at some point. I'm not saying now, but this migration tile says that maybe at some point with a little bit of balance and measured like thinking on it, like let's share that out, because there's going to be helpful people that are going to want to bring sort of this justice, this clarity, this intelligence, this balance to helping you to discover more. Like I want to say that they want to help you to discover more of who you are, but I think you kind of might already have a grasp of who you are. It's just you need to allow yourself to be seen a little bit more, and to trust that. And that if people have been intimidated by it in the past, right, or they've been bothered by it in the past, I'm just going to say, fuck them. Like, I mean, and I see, judging from these cards and stuff, I feel like that's not even in your nature to do that or say that to somebody. Like, that doesn't seem like, these cards don't strike me as you being that type of a person. But, like, don't let that get in your way. It's kind of the feeling that I feel. Does that make sense? Oh, Alex is here making fun of her. No poem writing here, girl. Oh, don't be shady, y'all. Don't be mean to her. I just like this reading. I feel like these cards make me feel like there's a very special person here, you know, and that needs to acknowledge that and allow others to see that. And that's just my feeling. Oh, I know you're friends, but they're just giving you a hard time because you got a better reading than they did. That's all. I would also say anything you want to do creatively, I would trust as long as it feels good emotionally. She is an amazing human being. I feel like she definitely is, with the way that all of these things have played out on the board. Like, I really feel like she is. I feel like she's got a depth to her that like a lot of people don't operate at. Ashley was like, I was upside down drowning. You weren't drowning, but you did have a lot of cups, Ashley. So I hope that makes sense. All right, you guys. Y'all, it's crazy. So I think that is it for the night. Thank you so much to everybody that purchased a Feng Shui reading. I think I'm going to do these on Friday nights and just call it Feng Shui Fridays. And then that way, it just sees what's going on in everybody's sort of Bagua or in their department. I like that it honors that not only the directions, like all of the directions, not just northeast, south, and west, but even the southeast, the northwest, all of that. I love that it takes in the elements of, Feng Shui, like the metal, earth. I couldn't figure out ways to do water, and we got the wood tiles, so that honors the wood. But I do like it. It's an idea that I came up with one day. I don't know if anybody does readings like this. I just sort of was messing around and looking at Feng Shui Baguas when I was doing something in my house, trying to figure out where to place things in my house. And I was like, it just kind of came to me that you could sort of position cards and sort of look at what's going on in the areas of your life in reference to these elements, directions, and where we're heading. And then I made the board so that it actually fit where you set it down into the camera, so that it's actually heading in those directions to honor those actual physical directions. I thought that would make more like sort of power to it. Yeah, so I'll probably do them on Friday nights. And then I think depending on my schedule, like I'm going to try and be on more often because I need to be on more often. I need to get my name out there and make this business viable because this is what I want to be doing. I don't want to be like, doing other stuff. Like this is what I like to do. So I am, Sunday nights will stay as charm nights. And then I'm thinking Tuesday might just be like a tarot night where we just do the tarot decks. And then Wellness Wednesday, I kind of like that. I thought that was sort of fun where we do tarot readings, but on like wellness, like mental, spiritual, physical, emotional wellness. Like where are we at? Are we good? Are we not good? So you can check in on that. And then maybe on like Tarot Tuesdays, if I come on Tuesday nights, it can be whatever topic you guys want. You guys can choose. If you want a tarot reading, you can choose like if you want it on a person. I can't figure out which night to do like love readings. So, because nothing rhymes with like, there's no weekday of the week that starts with L or D or, I was trying to figure out how to come up with a cute name so that it can be like romance readings, but sometimes those get like, or people don't want those done publicly. So, thank you, Dorothy. I'm glad you stayed and watched. Thank you very much. And I'll do them again. This is something that I created like I don't know, maybe a month or two ago. And I just haven't gotten back around to doing it because I just kind of get sidetracked to get busy. I will be doing some more unboxings too, so you guys can see some more decks. There's the daily forecast on the YouTube channel every day. You can join me there in the mornings, or you can watch it throughout the day. If you do watch it throughout the day on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up button. It helps me. Share those videos out if you guys feel free. Like you can share them on your pages or into groups if you guys are involved in, metaphysical or tarot groups or mom groups or wherever, I don't know. Help share it, help get the word out. And that's it. And if anybody's interested in a private reading, you can always message me at the Facebook business page, which some of you already know that. Some of you already have come and gotten them. So you're more than welcome to do that. And I can answer any questions that you have there. And I think that's it. We're going to be starting a new week. Tomorrow's reading's already up on the Patreon page. So we start a new week. I have to tape Sunday through Saturday tomorrow to go up on Patreon. Oh, also for those of you that are Patreon subscribers, depending on what level you're on, the Cupid's reading went up today and yesterday's Archangel reading went up. So those are only available over there, but they're up now for the month of April. So for those of you that are new, I think Ashley, you're new, and I think you have access to both of those readings because you chose the higher level. You can let me know what you think. See if they apply to your life. Because they're kind of for a collective group of people, but there's only 16 Patreon subscribers and not all of them are on the same levels. So I just do a reading each month for that group. So how was it? You watched it already? What did you think? Did it make sense? I think my reading trained you on Wednesday. No, it was fine, Dorothy. I was just surprised. Just rescued by default an old dog across the street in the park. Oh, you like the loved one for sure. Okay, cool, good. I never know because sometimes each month it can be so different, right? And so I'm trying to broaden it because even though it was originally supposed to be like a Cupid's love reading thing, but I know that some of the people that are at that level aren't necessarily either interested in love or they're in committed relationships. So I don't know if I'm just speaking to them in their relationships or not. And so I think it's opened up to, like, we have love for our family members, our friends. So it should just be about our interpersonal relationships. If it comes off heavy romance, I'll definitely tell you, like, oh, this is like boom, boom, shaboom, boom. Like somebody's gonna get some this month or whatever. Like if I see that and I sense that, I'll feel that. But I was thinking about it. I was thinking, how does it reach everybody? And it's just sort of where we are in our relationships. Wish it had been the margarita track. Totally, Beth. Totally. All right, you guys, I'm going to sign off and go have some dinner. Thank you all for tuning in. For those of you that bought readings, thank you, thank you, thank you. You don't know how much that matters to me and how important that is for me right now. So I really appreciate it. I will, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Saturday. Because Charmings are Sunday. I may not go live tomorrow night. I don't know. I was just thinking, I just had a really awful idea. I have these decks, these dirty tarot decks that they sent to me. A viewer sent to me, Karen, and I never unboxed it because I got nervous about using it. I thought I would get in trouble for using it on like Facebook and stuff. But I'm wondering if we should do Sexy Saturday. I don't know. Maybe that'll be once a month. I don't know. We'll see. All right, you guys, have a great night, and I will talk to you later. I hope you all have a good night, and thank you so much for your support. All right, take care. Bye-bye.